Hey guys, this is Kate, and this is my last layout using the April kit. I'm going to use the mood board or challenge board for inspiration on this layout. So the bottom left-hand picture here, the quilted triangles, that's what I'm going to use as my inspiration. So I'm starting off with this Amy Tangerine background paper, and I'm going to cut the middle out of it. I'm using a well, it's not black and white, sorry, but I'm using a photograph of my wedding shoes, wedding day shoes that were these like gold, glittery, sparkly, fun shoes. And I'm cutting a half an inch off each side of that white paper, which gives me a quarter of an inch border. Now I'm trying to decide if I want to mat the photograph on any paper, and I decide that I don't. So to make these triangles, I used that punch that I showed you there, that blue punch, and I just punched a bunch of triangles out of all of the different pattern papers in this kit. And I wanted to tell you, I've played with the brightness on this video in iMovie, and it makes my skin look like blue almost. but it was the video was a little bit dark, so I just wanted to brighten it up. So don't worry, I'm not sick or anything. It's just bad editing. So here I am, and I literally am just creating this pattern as I go along, and I'm using my T-square ruler just to make sure that the bottom part of these triangles are straight. And I want most of the focus to be on the left-hand side of the layout because I'm going to put a title on the right-hand side with the photograph. So that's why I'm just focusing on the one side. So you can see that one was pretty crooked. So T-square ruler is probably one of my favorite um, tools as far as projects and stuff go. I'm going to end up taking that orchid color triangle off, but not until I place my photo so that I see, because I kind of can see that the balance is off. So I'm trying to have some design principles here and weight this properly, but honestly, I just went with what I thought looked the best. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. Um, Even as far as the colors that I picked. So I kind of can see that I've left a little bit of a um, opening there for my picture to fit, which worked out nicely actually. I'm going to take my little adhesive remover there, another one of my favorite tools. All of my tools are so I don't mess up or when I do, how to fix it. But now I'm just going through these Amy Tangerine rub-ons, and there's like three arrows, like sketchy arrows on these, and I'm gonna put those down. Now, normally I love rub-ons, and normally American Craft rub-ons are really, really good. I don't know if it's just the ones that I got, but they were a little bit tricky to put down. So a tip for that is instead of using that stick like it comes with, use the end of your tweezers because it's metal and it's a little bit harder. And when I used that to rub it down, it came off perfectly. Okay, so I'm using these crepe paper gold. They look like label maker labels. Are so cute. And I'm just sticking them underneath the triangles and making them come out kind of like a flag or a banner. And I know that that love is crooked and I'm going to fix it later, but so you can see here, I'm using the craft stick, which usually works perfectly. But when I go to pull it up, you can see part of it was left there. So I just used the end of my tweezers and that was like worked perfect. So now I'm just going through because I'm like, I know I saw other arrows in there. So I'm gonna pull those out. And this is kind of funny. You'll actually see here in a second that I dropped when I cut it, it just kind of dropped and I just left it there. It was like the perfect placement. So this layout took me a total of like 26 minutes, and I had done the prep work of cutting those triangles out first beforehand, which took me like 2 minutes. So literally this layout was less than 30 minutes, which for me is so incredibly fast. It usually takes me like an hour and a half to do a layout with prep work usually, like with knowing like what I'm gonna do. So I'm just putting this up on some dimensional adhesive, and you can see there that I used the kind of leftovers of the pop dots to put under my photos. Sorry, something on my eye. And I'm going to put this frame here. I don't end up leaving it there because I want the only like gold glittery to be the shoes, and I feel like that frame kind of competes with it. And I'm going through the Maggie Holmes vellum embellishments, which are just awesome. And I'm going to put down a couple of different options before I kind of find my way to what I actually end up adhering down. I just feel like there's a lot of white space, and sometimes I like a lot of white space, and I feel like there's different kinds of white space. And this white space that's left just looks unfinished to me. So that's why I'm adding these few little embellishments. Sometimes white space looks intentional and it's part of the composition and it looks awesome. It doesn't look empty. And then sometimes, like in this case, to me at least, I felt like it just looked empty. So I'm going to go ahead and fill it in a little bit, and I think that looks much better. And it doesn't distract from the triangles. Like, it doesn't take away from that element, I don't think. So I'm going to use a stamp from this Ellie Studio stamp set, which is really cute. And if you do Project Life, or if you're looking for a stamp set to use on layouts, because I know that sometimes it's hard to stamp on layouts, this is the perfect stamp set because every one of them in there, it works on a layout. It's great. I love it. I've used that one a couple of times already. It just says month, day, and year. So again, I'm going back to, do I want to put pattern paper under this picture? And finally I just decide nope, and I just go ahead and stick it down because then there's no turning back. And I'm glad that I didn't because I like the way that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and put this onto the piece of Amy Tangerine paper that I had already cut the middle out of, and I'm going to cut the little branding strip off the bottom, and then I'm going to work on the title. And I'm using the Studio Calico Mistable thickers that come in the kit, or one of the kits, and I'm using this Precious Metals gold paint. If y'all have watched me or my other videos, you know that I'm like obsessed with this paint. So you can get it at a craft store, and it's with like the leafing stuff. I don't even know that it's actually paint. I'm not really sure what its intended purpose is. I use it on everything though. And it actually works really well on these thickers. So I just wiped it off with a dry paper towel and it worked perfectly. So I'm putting the shoes because I just think it's funny. And I'm going to come back in just a second with a wet baby wipe. I wanted to let that dry a little bit before I put anything wet on it. And I'm just going to clean them up just a little bit more so that that white area in the thickers is a little more pronounced. I'm going to end up adding a little bit more to the title, but I'm going to work on the embellishing first. I think actually I'm gonna take some mini glue dots, and I like to put sequins on with mini glue dots. It gives them a little bit of dimension and it's not messy. So I really like to do it that way. Sometimes I'll use glue, but my preference is mini glue dots. When I start running low on those though, I switch to glue. So I'm just putting a variety of sequins down. Then I'm gonna write the date, which is August 17th, 2013, which is the day I got married. And then I'm going to take the Ellie Studio alphabet and write all about, so the title's all about the shoes, which is what I wanted it to be. I just hadn't gotten, I don't know why I didn't do it all at the same time. That was kind of silly. But, and I haven't decided yet where I want to put my journaling, so you're not going to see any journaling in the photographs. I'm still debating on whether or not to put it in the upper right hand corner or put it like around the layout. But anyhow, in the meantime, I'm taking these Studio Calico gems from Lemon Lush, and I'm normally not a gem person. Like, I don't have a whole lot of them, but I really like the way they look on this layout, and I really liked those colors because they're not too sparkly. So here's another picture of the challenge, and then here are some close-ups. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'd love to see what you're doing with your hip kit, and make sure to check out next month's because it's amazing. And if you subscribe, use the code CraftingKate. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.